Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the fourth Sunday in Easter, the Sunday commonly known as Good Shepherd Sunday. And I'm seated in a different part of the church so that you can have a different view of the Messiah window and the chancel area. Our gospel reading is taken from John. Jesus said, "Very truly I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will not follow a stranger, but they will run from him, because they do not know the voice of strangers." Jesus used this figure of speech with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So again Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved, and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." Well, a few years ago, Kathy and I were in New Zealand for a vacation, and we were staying with my younger brother, David, who at that time was living with his wife and family in almost a rural area. And on the driveway up to his house, there was a paddock on one side full of sheep. And one day, Kathy and I were in a car, and we were going up the driveway, and I stopped the car, and I said to Kathy, "Watch this." And I wound the window down, and I put my head out the window, and I went, "Bah! Bah!" And all the sheep turned and looked at me intently for a few seconds, and then they went back to munching their grass. They did not recognize my voice. I was not their shepherd. For a moment, I think I may have had them fooled, but not for long. This powerful story today is yet another instance where Jesus is talking to his disciples about this intimate relationship that he seeks with his followers. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus is constantly assuring his followers that he desires to know them intimately. One place in John's Gospel, Jesus says, "I no longer call you my disciples, but I call you my friends." Elsewhere in Luke's Gospel, he talks about how every hair of our head has been counted. And he says things like, "I am going before you. Where I go, you cannot follow me at the moment. I am going to prepare a place for you." Throughout the Gospels, Jesus is reassuring his disciples that he will provide for them, that he will care for them, that he will lead them. And this image of Christ, the Good Shepherd, leading his flock, all of whom recognize his voice, I think is a very reassuring message in these times of great uncertainty that we are going through at the moment. We want to know that somebody has our back. We want to know that Jesus really means it when he says, "I will be with you always, even unto the end of the ages." So Jesus is both the shepherd, the one who leads his flock, but also, interestingly, in this passage, he is the gate. There's a confusion of images here. But the gate, of course, is what the sheep must pass through in order to get to the enclosure. What's powerful about this image is that in those days, after taking the flock into the sheepfold at the end of the day, for them to rest at the night, the shepherd would literally lie in front of the entrance to the sheepfold, the entrance to the enclosure, lie in front of it like a gate to protect the sheep from any passing wolves, jackals, or whatever might pose a threat to them. Jesus is the great protector as well as the great provider. So think on these things in these days. Think about the Christ who cares for you so intimately that he knows each of us by name. And Scripture assures us that in fact we are known before we are born. Psalm 139 talks about how God formed us in the womb and knew us even then. We are known, we are loved, and we are protected. Think on these things.